Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Brent Bridgman and you're watching the JFL Boat Build Series right here. So, important information. A couple viewers said, "Sir, could you please show us the process in which you prepare and do the whole process of the Metal Flake gel coat?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." Their concern was they watched previous channels, which I don't need to name. I used to watch the channel that he mentioned as well, and I actually liked the channel. And then they stopped showing the process, partially because I got too busy. But the other part was the stuff like gel coat and flake, as far as I have heard through the grapevine, is everything is sent out to be gel coated. So they definitely wouldn't show that process because the place that's doing it probably doesn't want to show you how the process is done. Well, there's plenty of work to go around, and I'm not afraid to show people at home or people in other businesses the way I do things, because it may not necessarily be the way you do things. So first is you want to make sure that your customers' boats are covered with plastic, fully bagged. That way you don't get any overspray on anything. If you have anything that's important to you, make sure it's covered. My boat, totally bagged, okay? And then what I've been doing is working on the 1985 Cimarron ski boat. So yesterday I laid the chrome metal flake over the hull of the boat. And then right now I'm getting ready to shoot the gray metal flake. After that, we'll let it sit for an hour. Once it sets up, then I'll shoot it with clear gel coat. We'll do 3 heavy coats of clear gel coat. We don't use a styrene, and we definitely don't use acetone. So anyway, what I use, it's called Duratec, all right? Duratec 904-001. And in this video, you will actually see, because I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show you the labels. I'm not gonna hide anything. Show you where I get my flake. Show you everything. I have zero to hide and everything to gain. What I'm hoping for is by the time I do this boat, all solid metal flake, interior, bottom, sides, everything. When I do the Javelin, interior, sides, cap, everything. And then my boat, interior, cap, sides, bottom. By then, after these 3 boats, there will be no dispute whether somebody in Muscle Shoals, Alabama does great metal flake gel coat. All right, so here we go. We got a long day. Make sure you put down your paper. Get everything ready to go. You got your clear, you got your Duratec, you've got all your mixing stuff, your spray gun's ready to go. Just make sure you're ready to go. All right, so join me now and I'll show you how to do it. So for everybody wondering what composites I use, this is a very high quality marine clear, and you can see the manufacturing date was 7/24/25. So everything I use is within the year, so nothing gets wasted or thrown out here because we go through it so fast. And I say we, but it's just me. But the we is me and you. So anyway, we're gonna take this clear. Let me zoom out here. Start showing you guys a little more of what goes on here. So these mixing cups you can get off of Amazon. And what I have here is I have 7 ounces, okay? So there's 2 types of MEKP that I use, and it's the same bottle, but this one, which I use for structural repair, right? This is just the name of the company that I bought it from. But anyway, I have this. It's a blue translucent resin dye. Okay, you can get the name off that. And I put it in here, and it's more purple than blue. But when I'm doing structural stuff and I'm mixing large amounts of resin, what I want to do is I put the purple in there to make sure that it's stirred in with my resin. Now, resin sometimes is brown. Some marine resin's brown. Some of it's really red. What's funny is this is clear, and all clear comes this color, but I also use Duratec, and the Duratec 904 I'll mix with this 50-50 on a final coat. the Durtech lays that clear down nice and easy, so it's easier to wet sand and polish. So anyway, on this 7 ounces, these bottles are nice because you can squeeze it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix it a little hot because it's a little cool today. All right, so I tried, when it's cool like this, I try to do 2%. So we'll leave that there, and then get a stir stick out of here. But you want to make sure you stir it up really good. Now notice I use the clear. Well, that's because we want to keep that clear. If I was to add that blue, it would turn it more purple, and I don't want a purple tint to the... Now as this starts to cure, it goes clear. So the curing it's already going from pink to clear. See how it's clearing up? Now it's the color of the cup. So anyway, I mixed it a little hot, so we're gonna go pretty quick. All right, oops. I'm gonna get the brush out of here. Amazon has these 99 brushes for $35. It makes them right around 34 cents a piece. That's the way to go. Let me bring you guys on this tripod over here. There's nothing special about what I do here. So I'm gonna stay in this area. Let me stay zoomed in right here. But I'm gonna finish mixing this real quick. You got about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to use what's in this cup. And it goes really fast. But like I said, it'll take a couple of these cups to do what we're doing here. So, all right, so all you're doing is you're just dipping it and you're being really generous with it. Now I got a couple holes right there. So when you got a couple holes, you got to fill, right? Now all we're doing is we're coming over this. We didn't have any clear here yet. We already did the top. So all we're doing here is, this is filling cracks, little imperfections, and notice it's clear. All right. So we also want to make sure we get this bottom ridge down here, right? Because your rubber rail sits out here. You want this little area here to be good as well. And also, if you're going to have an issue with any issues with any underlying, I already sanded off all the automotive clear off of here. So we shouldn't have any wrinkling or defects at all. I'm trying to keep it down here, and you're just building a base for your gel coat. Oop, got a little hair. These brushes have a little hair in them, so you gotta, every once in a while. So anyway, this is a filler. Kind of an expensive filler. The clear is not cheap, but it's gonna save me a bunch of steps. So yes, it's expensive, what I'm using the clear for as a filler, but it's gonna save me money because I'm using the blue of the boat as a background, and I'm using the chrome for the chrome stripe, and I'm using the black pinstripe for the black gel coat. By keeping everything in clear gel coat throughout the process of the repairs, see, I got some big cracks right here, so I'm gonna make sure I put lots right there, but I pushed it in first. See, you gotta push it in. That's what I was saying. You can't spray this with a spray gun because it's not gonna take. So after you push it in, then you just drag a bunch across it, and you're just filling those cracks that I showed you earlier. All right, so I'm out of the frame like that. Yep, I'm out of the frame. Let's zoom out. And I'm just gonna do the rest right here. So we'll just time lapse this, all right? Okay, so I gave the sides one heavy coat. The top has 2 coats now. What we'll do is we'll let this set up a little bit. We're gonna sand the other side, get it ready. But as you see, coated this whole side heavy, and then I'll come back on the side once this sets up a little bit. I use the gel coat and resin with no wax. That way, if I want to come back right across this, I can. So anyway, now what we'll do is we'll let this sit for 3 days after I put the second heavy coat on the side. What we're doing here is we're filling the cracks that were there, like I explained to you earlier. So once this sits for 3 days, then we go through and we'll sand it. Other than that, we're gonna sand the other side right now, coat the side heavy, and then wait for it to set up today, and then come back with a second coat. Then this boat can sit for 3 days while I work on sanding the interior, which will take me an entire day, which will happen tomorrow. But what we're gonna do right now is sorry for the noise, we got delivery trucks in the background. What we're gonna do right now is get that other side sanded, get it coated, and then we're gonna jump on over to the ski boat. We need to get the whole bottom of it sanded today and tomorrow. And then we'll be probably putting the Metal Flake on the ski boat first before we do this one. So you're gonna see 2 Metal Flake jobs, and hopefully you'll learn something. So to my viewers that are asking me to show the process, we're gonna do that for you. So you can see what it takes, and excuse the lengthy time lapses, because I literally have over 30 hours just sanding the boat already, and we're not even halfway done sanding. So it takes a lot, and I'm gonna have to do the time lapse to show you the process so we don't skip anything, all right? All right, so as you can tell from the time lapse, we've already been through 1 box of 80, a box of 36, or 40, sorry. And then this is the end of our second box of 80. We're getting ready to go on our 3rd box of 80. One thing about gel coat when they're on these older boats is it eats up your sandpaper. The shell of gel coat is so hard that you'll go through a lot of sandpaper. But we're in the home stretch. All I got left here for the bottom of the boat is this last 5 feet. So we're going to do that. But I want to bring you in close. I want to show you something. Let me get you off this stand. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The light's green. Pull you off this stand. So a lot of these older boats, a lot of people, to restore the gel coat, they would have a body shop or a buddy add some automotive clear. And what you're seeing, the yellowing, you can see they didn't put the automotive clear up here at all. So see how brilliant that gray is? It's like real brilliant. Down here, you've got a yellow tinge to it. And that's not automotive clear. And the thing is about automotive clear, like I've covered in other episodes, is you can never get it to stick to gel coat. And so what you get is you have to make sure you get all of this off here. So that's also why it's taking so long, is you have to get it down to the original gel coat. And then your gel coat, this is the bottom of the gel coat. This is the top of the gel coat. So your gel coat still has some darker gray once you sand it. Now this is water stained, the yellow that you're seeing here, because the whole water line came right like this. So what you're seeing here is just the Tennessee River water, and it gets real dirty. But anyway, to defeat this, you have to make sure that you get it down past without burning through. You don't want to burn through your flake unless you're changing the color, then it don't matter. But what we're doing is we don't want to use 20 pounds of flake, so we need to save this by sanding deep enough to get it sanded. Now we're finishing it with 80 grit. Anytime I go over the top of flake, I try to do 80 grit. That way your new gel coat clear sticks to this. Now see the brilliant color there? See how it's not yellow? It's because that's below the water line. The water line ran like this right up there, and that was all solid yellow right there. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this automotive clear, and I just wish people would stop doing the automotive clear because it never works. See how it's just bubbly. This is all air bubbles. It's separation. It can't adhere. Even though they sanded this surface, part of the reason is this surface is like super hard. So even if they tried to sand it, it didn't bite because now, and who knows how long ago this was done. But anyway, to bring you guys up to date, we will be bouncing back onto the Javelin in the next couple days. So we got the whole top sanded. We're going to be doing the silver stripe as soon as we get this side. I need to sand right here because we're going to mask to this. We're not doing the bottom yet. I'm sure when the customer sees the top, he'll have me do the bottom. The next few days after we get the silver stripe laid on here, we're going to come around the next day, I think, and do the black metal flake. And then we're going to let this cure, because what I want to do is be able to mask to this before we do the blue. So we'll fill in this hole during that time while the bottom of the ski boat is curing. While the bottom of the ski boat is curing, I'm going to try to shoot this thing maybe tomorrow being Friday. If not, I will shoot this thing Saturday. We got 4 days of warm weather, which is good. Bring you guys up to date. We've been working on this, getting this to fit better. The console, it's fitting really nice now. We did a little bit of some repair on the dash. This is the newest addition. So we did a splash well delete. I moved the rigging hole from way down in the well that sit way down in there, moved it up top, made it really nice. This is a sandable gel coat, so I can make this nice and smooth. And we deleted, there was a hole here where you used to add oil, but our new motor, we're going to mix the oil in with the gas when we pump gas into this thing. So anyway, it's got 3 ribs, as you can see here. Boom, boom, boom. Not just for strength, but we're also going to sand this down to get rid of the ridges. There's a ridge here, there's a ridge here. This is where the layers of 1708, that's 3 layers. Once we get it smooth, then we will cover it with 3 layers of chop strand mat, and then these ribs will be larger and more prominent. And then I don't know if I'm going to do anything with the metal flake yet. This is just PVA that I put on top to make sure it had a hard shell so I could sand it. And then this little piece here is a recess. So when you're looking here, see, I want it to be, so we just got to fiberglass this in after we do all the sanding, but I just wanted to give you a visual. And then they sell some really awesome billet polished and chrome bezels for that big hose that goes back to the motor. So I had a lot of people responding to like, why did you delete the splash well? Well, this boat's getting a 10-inch Bob's hydraulic jack plate, so there's no reason to have a splash well. The factory usually put the motor straight on the transom and it was low. So when you trim the motor up, you needed room down in the splash well for this big hose and also your hydraulic lines and all your wiring. Well, the motor's going to be back here now, 10 inches back. So when you trim it up, there's nothing in the way anymore because you're way back here. And also on a Bob's jack plate, you can lift that thing all the way up when you're hauling it on the trailer. And then your motor's high enough where you don't even really have to tilt it forward too much. But yeah, so that's the update on that. And then we're going to build our doors, of course. And then we're going to start stripping all of the carpet and doors out of the Ranger over the next 3 weeks. I'd like to have this thing done by April 13th, which is my birthday, which means the cosmetic, bodywork, and Metal Flake I want done by my birthday. Got the brackets for the seat pan almost complete. As you can see over there, I just got to finish it so it slides in that rail. Then we're going to come to the back side. I've already got the front figured out where the holes got to go. I just got to do a little bit of resin work in the front area here. It'll still have the vents, but other than that, the seat now has brackets that will bolt in, and then I'll just do little flanges on the side over there and a flange on that side, just so when you get in rough water, it's not beating up the bottom of the gas tank. So anyway, I got to pull the gas tanks out of this pretty soon too, drain them out, make sure they're clean. I'm going to replace the hoses that are in here. They're all hard. I can't even get them off there. We're going to cut them off. I want new fuel hoses anyway. But that's the update on all 3 boats we're working on. Should have another boat coming here tomorrow. We're going to be doing a Gambler, and it's a complete bottom, sides, top, interior, and we're replacing the deck and the floorboard in it. So that's going to be a complete deal. I know that once this thing is done, I'll let it cure for 3 days, and then we'll flip it over after we cut and polish it. And then when we flip it over, we'll just have to do the interior. And when I do flip it over, I got to make 2 new saddle tank mounts, which we'll get to, not a problem. And I've already got all the Coosa board for it. I have all the resin for it. So we just need to get this thing gel coated. It's going back the chrome on the bottom and the gray on the sides. Same paint scheme, same pinstripe. And then I'm going to take the little Cimarron logo, and I'm going to have my sign shop print the reverse, the negative of it. And then I'm going to, instead of having a sticker on the boat, the customer would like to have that name possibly in the Metal Flake. So I got some cool black Metal Flake we might do with it. And then we'll have the original logo on the side of the boat underneath the clear gel coat. So when you cut and polish it, you won't be able to feel it. I think that'll give it a nice touch. And I'm trying to release as much video stuff as I can, but I've been so busy, covered up, and I just work here by myself. So I'm a one-man show, but this took a while. We had a bunch of cracks in the top cap, so we had to strip it down, and obviously you see the video. The video shows what we were doing there. But we've added 4 layers of clear gel coat, and then we cut it down with 40 grit the first time. Then we added 2 layers of clear gel coat again. Then I cut it down with 80 grit. So now this surface is super smooth, no more cracks, and we'll be able to gel coat right on top of this. But I want to finish sanding this after we do the bottom of the ski boat. That way that is curing while we finish sanding, because we got to come in here and sand all these jams. I still got to fill this hole. We got to put the new package tray in the front. So there's a lot of stuff we can do on this boat while the ski boat is curing for the 3 days after we get it shot, which should be tomorrow. And then I'm going to shoot the chrome stripe on here first, and then it gets a black pinstripe on the outside of it. Let that cure. While this is curing, I could come over the back with a hose and completely use the DA and get all these jams and everything sanded, get that automotive clear. If you look over here, same thing. Somebody put automotive clear. See all the checking? I call that checking. It's cracked. If you look real close, you could also see the yellow tinge to it, but you see those little spider web cracks? That's all automotive clear. So same thing, we'll strip it all back, and then the whole interior, jams, cap, get done on this boat. got a beautiful blue color going on this boat. And then once the customer sees it, I know he'll have me do the sides. So this boat, he'll probably show up to pick it up and then say, can I just have you do the sides? Which will be cool, because at that time he can take his trailer and do the repairs he needs to do on a trailer, because I'll take the boat off this trailer, put it on some stands, and then he can do what he needs to do to the trailer, because this trailer actually needs a fender. And once he sees the new color blue, he'll probably want to do the trailer, although that blue is closer to the new flake, so he might just want to do a fender and then have somebody match the fenders. But yeah, this definitely needs some fender work. But I don't do the metal trailers. I can, but I just don't spray automotive paint. I'm not set up for it, and I can never guarantee that it would be clean, where the gel coat's a lot easier, and gel coat spray is different, and it's easier to get a perfect finish out of gel coat than automotive paint. Automotive paint is real finicky and super expensive, by the way. So anyway, all right, there's the update. And you guys, I'll put you back on this tripod so you can see the rest of this time lapse. Okay, so a couple of you have said, hey, I would like it if you're going to cover the process of when you shoot flake, if you could show us if that would be okay. Because I used to watch Mealy Marine, and they used to show the process of what they were doing. I agree with you. I quit watching Mealy Marine after that as well. They're still good guys. They just got super busy, and they really don't have time to do the YouTube channel. Plus, a lot of their gel coat, from what I understand, gets piecemealed out to somebody else. So anyway, what you want to do on an older boat is you want to try to get the flake as close as possible. Now, on a 1985 Cimarron ski boat, the weather has taken its toll. Some of the flake has faded, and some of the flake underneath the boat was original. So when I flipped the boat over, which you'll see in all the time lapse and sanding and things like that, is I let the customer pick his colors that were close to what he had. This one is going to be dead on. I get my flake out of California. They have been supplying Metal Flake for bass boats, speedboats, big boats, and even brand new ski boats now since 1972. And I'm not going to hide it. You guys, if you want Metal Flake, go through Roth Metal Flake. Tell them that Brent from the YouTube channel out in Muscle Shoals sent you. You probably get a discount if you do that. I buy literally hundreds of pounds of flake from Roth. I have a full cabinet full of brand new flake. All my flake is less than a year old. So we're going to go with a chrome flake on the bottom, and then it gets a layer of this multi-shift prismatic chrome on top of in the final clear coat before we put the clear coat over it. So what I'm going to show you here is we're going to show you the mixing ratio. I've already got this mixed up, and what I have is I mixed, I go out the side here, and I'm going on a 6-to-1, which it's 4-to-1 ratio right here. So what I did is I had 1 part of the Duratec 904, and it's important that it's the 001. You want the Duratec, can't miss the logo at all. You want the 904-001, and what you're using this for is kind of like a thinner, but it's actually a clear, but it acts as a thinner, and what it does is it makes a sprayable. Instead of it being so thick, it's still thick, but you want it thick because when you're spraying Metal Flake, you want to make sure that your flake is going to stay put. What the Duratec does is a lot of Metal Flake, you figure if, and I cut a sample out here, and the best way to describe it is, if this is your Metal Flake, okay, and this is the tip of your gun, and this metal flake comes out of the tip of your gun, when it sticks to the side of the boat, right, and your gel coat is really thick, it's not going to let this metal flake, here's the surface of the boat, it shoots out. And if your gel coat is thick, it's just going to sit there. Well, that's not going to be good. You want this metal flake to get its full effect to lay flat. So what the Duratec does is it makes it so that metal flake can lay down once it's shot out. And so when you come by with another layer, it's going to help it lay down even more. So you don't get a lot of this. Now, the mistake people have made is they want to shoot clear on the boat and then they use a dry metal flake gun. That does a lot of this. And what this does is causes voids, because if you get 2 pieces of metal flake, okay, I use a mixed batch. So I cut out 2 samples, the 0.0005, the 0.0015, and I use the 0.025. This is the original boat metal flake from back in the day. I like to use it with the small and the big. I do a mix. I believe you should see, it should say mix. Yeah, see, I have both. I have a mix. I have the 0.015 and the 0.025. And they'll get you all the way down to a 0.008. So I don't like to use 0.008 because that's what they use on cars and it's real fine. The 0.0025, this is a representative of that. And this is the representative of the 0.015. The problem is when you lay down gel coat and then the gel coat clear and then you dry blow out of a gun. They sell a metal flake gun that does dry metal flake. 1, it's not consistent. 2, if this little piece of metal flake stands up on the surface like this, let's just do it like this. Here's the surface of the boat. And then this big one comes in and goes like this. Now you've got a void in there, and that void could cause bubbling. It could cause separation. It could cause a lot of stuff. Now, say that you're shooting with Duratec to thin it down so it lays down smooth. When you shoot this, big one comes out, right? And before this one comes out, it's so wet it lays down. So when this one comes out, it's so wet it lays down. Now what you've got, let's use this side as a reference. Now what you've got is you've got the reflection of this big one with the little one. So you get a lot of twinkles when you walk past the boat. When you use a 0.025 and a 0.015, you're getting the differences. Now if it's laying over here to the side, you're still getting the differences. So that's why I use the 2 different flakes. So in today's example, we're going to lay the 0.025 and the 0.015, which is this mix, and we've already mixed it. So I've got 1 part of the Duratec, and I have the 6 parts of the regular clear, which is it's Polynt. Polynt is the brand. It's a high grade marine clear with UV protectant. Okay, so that's what I use, and then it looks a little pink, but once it dries, it clears. So when you add the accelerant, which is going to be your MEKP, I keep it in this so I can get the exact measurement. So what you do is when you squeeze this, it fills it up for you and tells you exactly what you want to do. Now today it is on the thermometer on the wall at 70 degrees, which is perfect temperature, but the humidity is borderline. It's like 2 bars before red. So right now is an okay time to shoot. Now if it got any more humidity close to the red, you don't want to shoot. All right, so what I'm going to do now is open up this metal flake, which is going to be messy, and I want to show you how much flake you put in your cup. And there's a way to determine how much flake if you just shake it down. And what I like to do is I got these little cups, and you can get them off Amazon, and they will hold resin and they don't melt. Okay, these cups you can get off Amazon. They work really well. And what I like to do is I will peel this back. You don't want to breathe any of that in. Metal Flake is very airborne. So what I want to do is I want to go down with the bag, just like that. And you're just going to feed it into here. Now, you want to fill your cup almost to the top. All right. And it's going to stick to the side, but look how pretty that is. So when you mix this in here, right? Let me move that back a little bit. What you're going to do is you're going to pour it in the middle, just like that. And it's going to take a lot, but the consistency you're looking for when you're spraying flake, and it's going to be all over the desk here, is when you stir it in thoroughly. You want to make sure you stir it in thoroughly. Now, we haven't added any MEKP to this at all yet. We don't want to do any of that yet. All right. And so what we're doing is we're doing the bottom of the ski boat. Look how pretty that is. But you'll know you have the consistency correct once you know it's stirred in completely. And what you got to do is go both ways. Go this way and around backwards, counterclockwise, and then clockwise. Make sure you're scraping the sides. And you should not be able to see that paint stick. See how you cannot see that paint stick? That's how you know the consistency is right. Now, how did I know? Well, I've been shooting flake for a long time, so I knew what I needed, okay? So it took about half that cup of flake, right? It took about half that cup, all right? And so now, see how it covers the wood? You cannot see the wood. That's how you know you've got a nice consistency. Now, I want to see a little bit more of the I want to see a little bit more of the clear in this, but what I'm going to do is it seems a little thick, so instead I'm going to add Duratec. Hang on, as soon as I get it off of here. Also, a note, we're going to use our disposable cups. So what I want to show you is on these disposable cups, they come with a filter. See the filter? They have a built-in filter, but with Metal Flake and gel coat, it's too thick. So I take a razor blade and I rip that screen out of there. All right, because it will clog up and it won't shoot any flake. And then also with it being 70 degrees today, so this piece goes on there and then you've got the little ring that slides over it. So we'll get to that part in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to add some Duratec. Now the nice thing I like about this Duratec company is they always give you a lot of material. A lot of companies, you'll open it and you feel like you got ripped off because you got about 2 inches down. These guys fill it right to the rim. And what I do is take another cup, plastic cup, tear off a piece. This is a really messy situation. This is why a lot of people don't like to do Metal Flake, is this is very messy. Set this on here. I'm going to set the Duratec on this side. Set this on this side. And then I just take it out of here with this cup. See how it's got kind of an orange tinge to it? And the resin had a pink tinge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just pour it in, top it off. And then it's also going to help with laying that flake down, like I said. So just leave that there. Stir it in. The Duratec's made to be compatible with the clear gel coat. You want to make sure you mix it in. See, now it's really thin, and that's what you want, because when you're spraying with a 2.5 tip, so you just take your automatic gravity fed gun with a 2.5 tip, right? It's a big tip, so you could spray almost like a 1.0 flake out of there if you wanted to. But what you don't want to do is spray flake that's bigger than that, because it's not going to come out. Do they offer bigger flake? Yes, they do. This company has different shapes of flake. So just remember, when you're done with your Duratec, just set the lid on it, because we're going to be shooting the whole bottom of the boat today. And that's of the Cimarron ski boat. What you don't want to do is leave that open and get dust in there, even if there's Metal Flake, because we use this on every boat. So we want to make sure it stays clear. All right, so let's do that. Stir that in really nice, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, clockwise, counterclockwise, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now when you pull this out, see it's still covering the stick, but it's not. See how you can kind of see the stick? So you're going to add more flake. Add more flake. All right, so now we used well more than half that cup. So I'd say we used another quarter of that cup. All right, now we're going to stir that in. Let's see if that's all. Is that zoomed in? Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in so you can see that. There we go. Make sure you guys are catching it. So what you're after here, now we added a lot of Duratec to that, which made more clear, right? So in order to make it so it covers the stick, now the consistency you need needs to cover the stick when you pull it out. See there? So make sure it's covering your stick. If it's not covering the stick, then you got to add more flake, all right? So I think we're right where we need to be. And so now we ended up with it looks like a quart sprayable probably, but you can look on the side right here, right? And so I would say that the ratio is 30-70 when you add, and now I don't add the flake as a ratio, okay? So liquid ratio, 70 parts of the clear gel coat to 30 parts Duratec. Now this is for the first coat. The bottom center section of the boat is black from when we redid the bottom. So what we're going to try and do is cover that with this chrome metal flake. I don't know how much it's going to take. Could take a lot, could take a little. But the thing is I want it to cover the stick. Need a little bit more metal flake. All right. That's a lot more metal flake. So we've almost used that whole cup of metal flake. And all we're doing is make sure that stick is covered. All right. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I got the microphone tagged to my shirt. So you're just going to stir that in until you can't see that stick. Make sure it gets off the sides. And then after you get it consistent where it's covered, there you go. That's what you're looking for right there. See that? You cannot see that stick. It's still thin enough to spray. And then you prep your surface. I prep my surfaces that are getting metal flake with 80 grit DA. And then where you can't reach in the corners, you just come back with some 80 grit, and I use a circular pattern where you can't reach with a DA. You want to make sure you get all your ridges and everything. So see how that is? You cannot see that stick. You do not want to see the stick. So, all right. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the MEKP. All right. I switched we're going to come over here and actually make sure that the water line, make sure you have any water that might be in the line. All right, no water in the line. You don't want moisture. Notice I also have these water traps on the gun. Okay, I got 2 brand new ones here, just in case I see any signs of moisture at all. I have them here ready to go. Sometimes you might burn through 2 or 3 of them if your compressor's being weird. My compressor has a mind of its own. So, all right, on the MEKP, I'm going to go with I'm going to mix it at like 1.5% because it's really warm. It's really warm out. So it's really warm in the shop. So I'm just going to go with what I feel is a appropriate amount for that. And now we're in motion. So from here you have limited time to spray this before it starts hardening. And I'll show you guys a little secret once we get going. So I'll get this mixed up, get this turned on here. I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse. And then when we start coming to the end where this starts setting up, I'll bring you guys in nice and close and I'll show you how you can tell whether this is going to be needing to get out of the pot, because what you don't want to do is have this harden in your gun because it ruins the gun, and you don't want to do that. So anyway, I stir it for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I keep a paper towel here because when you're stirring, you got metal flake on that lip. You don't want metal flake on that lip. It's got to make a seal. All right, so put that right there. I just shelf that off there, and then I'm going to wipe that off again. Wipe that rim off. Okay, I'm going to put my lid on. Put the gasket retainer ring on there. All right, put it in the gun. All right, I'm going to go set up the camera on the time lapse, and we'll shoot. Okay, everybody, that was a time lapse, and let me discuss exactly what we did there. You wanted to get a real light dusting on top of the black area. As you can see, there's no more dark black area. It's thoroughly covered. 3 heavy coats of flake. You saw the mix ratio. Now this will get clear coated after we do the dark charcoal here tomorrow. So we'll come in tomorrow. This is already sanded. But what we did is we wanted to, while this was still tacking up, see it's still wet. See how it strings away from your finger? That's when you know it's safe to pull the tape. And when you pull that tape, it won't have such a harsh edge on it, see? It'll lay down and be smooth. That way tomorrow I can mask right to it. So anyway, hopefully I'll send some teaser pics to the customer, but let me see if I can get some. Once this is cleared, it's really going to sparkle. I mean, it's sparkly now, but anyway, the whole entire bottom is now chrome metal flake, and then this will get cleared after the sides are charcoal gray, and we'll do that tomorrow, the charcoal gray. As you can see, the area we fixed in the back is all chrome. Look at that. You can see the reflection of its reflection. So anyway, back in there is cool. The pump will bolt in there, so you'll hardly ever see that again, but look at the sanding we did to make this bottom perfect. There's no waves, there's no wrinkles, there's no creases. This bottom was completely trued when it first came in, and it was black on the bottom. I knew I was going to redo the metal flake on this boat, so I knew I would load it up thick. Now it did take 2 boxes of 40 grit and 2 boxes of 80 grit to get it perfectly smooth, but this is the result. You get a perfect bottom on this 85 Cimarron that will look brand new. And then once we get the clear on here, this thing is really going to be amazing. So on the clear, when we mix it, and I'll go over it when we get there, but the ratio, instead of a 70-30, you're running a 50% Duratec and 50% clear gel coat. And that will go over both colors. So tomorrow we'll come and we'll mask it off right here to the rub rail line. So from here up, we'll get the charcoal gray. So we'll mask off the center. You saw how we masked it off with this painter's plastic. It comes in a Norton box. And then you just cut away what you don't need. This is the Norton overspray protection plastic. You want to use that. I put it on the floor. Notice like when I'm walking around, it's going squeak, squeak. That's the gel coat that's stuck to my feet. Now, toward the end, it starts ripping. But now, I didn't want to totally ruin the floor of the shop. So now, see, there's no metal flake over here. But metal flake starts about right here. You'll start seeing twinkles right in here. So it's about a 3-foot area. So this Norton plastic, you want to order the 16-foot wide. That way it's that way and that way. And notice it's underneath. And also, look at that. There's no dust coming out of the inside of the boat. It's completely bagged. So a lot of getting your metal flake just amazing is your prep work. Make sure your body is straight. There is not a flaw in this hull anymore. It is completely straight. It's true. It's going to run amazing on the water, and you just get a really good result. Now, when we clear coat this, you'll do 3 heavy coats of clear, and when you get done with it with the Duratech, you will not have to cut and polish this. It will lay out flat like glass. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to let this set up overnight, letting the shop air out because it was a bit murky in here. But anyway, we always wear our mask, which you saw in the time lapse. So make sure you get a good mask when you do this. We went through, it took 6 quarts, 7 quarts. I'll count it in the video, but I'm pretty sure it just took 7 quarts mixed. And it took probably 3 pounds of flake. So you got 3 pounds of flake and 7 quarts of actual clear and gel coat. So there's your temporary stopping point for the day. And look how pretty that is. I don't think the camera's doing it justice, but once this is cleared, it's really going to sparkle. So if you guys want the best flake in the industry, Roth Metal Flakes is where you want to get it from. That's where I get it from. I'm not going to keep it a secret. I want my guys to do well. I want them to sell a lot of flake. A lot of guys will not tell you where they get their flake. You can buy bulk flake at Roth Metal Flake, and they're out of Fremont, California. This channel is dedicated to show people that you do not have to take it to an expensive shop to get it done right. I want to also show you guys everything in the shop, every boat. My boat's bagged. The other customer boat is bagged. I've got a Bass Cat that's in for an estimate, which was parked outside all day because it has a big 12-foot hole in the bottom of it. So hopefully I get this insurance job. I gave the insurance company a quote yesterday. So beautiful boat. It's a 2011 Bass Cat. You sure wouldn't know it. It's got the 2017 Evinrude 250 HO on the back of it. Very cool boat. Once the shop clears out, then I will unmask it, move it to the side, and then we'll pull the Bass Cat in here for the evening, and then that will be good. So I will see you guys tomorrow when we do the dark gray. Have a good night.
A few moments later.